Hey, bolt action quests can feel like the game is trying to push you in fights you didn't ask for. Not because bolt actions are weak, but because the quests are designed to remove your comfort, first your scope, then your distance, the control over timing, and eventually your safety. If you treat them like go get kills, then they become miserable. If you treat them like build conditions where kills happen naturally, they are very doable. This video is a comprehensive bolt action PvE quest guide for Tarkov 1.0. We're going through Jaeger's Tarkov Shooter Part 1 to 8, Mechanics Psycho Sniper, and Shooter 1 in Heaven. The goal is not to turn you into a godlike sniper. The goal is to give you a repeatable way to finish these quests without turning your raids into coin flips. You're going to play slower, you're going to take fewer fights, and you're going to let the quest progress stack naturally instead of forcing it. Let's start with the backbone of it all, Tarkov Shooter. Tarkov Shooter Part 1, that's 5 scavs over 40 meters, bolt action with iron sights. This is not an aim test. It's a map selection and angle selection test. The mistake is trying to do it on a map where 40 meters is rare, or where your sight picture is constantly blocked. Factory is basically a guaranteed waste of time here. You want woods, shoreline, or customs. All of these maps have something in common. Sniper scavs. Sniper scavs are your best friend because often they sit still and give you a clean shot. On shoreline you have open sightlines around power and from the roof of resort. At 40 plus meters with iron sights you don't need style, you need repeatability. Pick a rifle whose iron sights you personally read well. Most in infantry is fine, or the VPO 215 can work if you're comfortable with the sight picture. This part is supposed to teach you that your first win condition is not the shot, it's putting yourself in a place where the shot is easy. Part 2 is the one that looks annoying on paper, but actually controllable if you approach it correctly. 3 leg hits over 40 meters and 2 headshots over 40 meters. Bolt action obviously. The key detail, you do not need to kill with the leg hits, you just need hits. If you find a scav at 50 or 80 meters, you can prone, stabilize and farm the leg hits off of one target. The headshots are separate, and here it's usually cleaner to just take 2 normal headshot kills. You can do it on the same maps as part 1. You don't need to rush high traffic to find targets. Scavs are everywhere. If the raid starts getting messy, reset the raid. This quest is solved by patience, not intensity. If you are struggling with combining the quest, it's fine to do this part with a scope. Part 3 is where people mentally break for the first time, because it flips the entire identity of the weapon. 3 PMCs under 25 meters with a bolt action. The easiest map for consistent under 25 meter contacts is Factory, because the map forces it, but you still need a method that doesn't rely on being faster than the other guy. The correct approach is to win with state, not with aim. You create a situation where they cannot shoot back, then you land one decisive shot. A good example for this is when the AI walks through doorways. Additionally, if your bolt action is set up as a slow, heavy, low ergo cannon, you're making your life harder than it needs to be. This is the one part where the weapon handling matters. A short Mosin or something with higher ergonomics helps, because you really need the gun to come up quickly when the moment happens. Also important, you don't need 3 kills in one raid. The temptation is to keep going after 1 kill because you feel good. Then you die to greed and you tilt. Get 1 kill, see if another presents itself, otherwise reset the raid. Part 3 is not about being a close-range sniper. It's about manufacturing 3 close-range executions. Part 4 is where Tarkov Shooter becomes what people imagine the questline to be. 5 PMCs over 80 meters, bolt action, and you need a sniper rifle skill of 3 before you can even start it. Usually by the time you reach this point, you were close anyway, because you have been using bolt actions for a while. If you're not, do not grind it in a weird way. Just do normal PvE raids with the bolt action and let it happen. You can push your skill in arena in case you have that option. Once you can start part 4, your win condition is distance plus timing. Woods and shoreline are the obvious picks because you get 80 plus meter lines without forcing yourself into the center of the map. But one of the best ways to complete this quest will actually be a recurring theme in this guide. Reserve Dome. One of my favorite spots to complete quests that require PMC or long-range scav skills. I use it for Tarkov Shooter, Test Drive, Shooter 1 in Heaven, and of course sometimes for other quests as well. For me personally, this spot has been the biggest game changer and a huge learning coming from PvP, where sitting prone is mostly your inevitable end. Part 5 is Night Customs, 8 scav with a bolt action. This part is usually calmer than people expect, because it's pure scav hunting, and it's on a map where scavs are everywhere. The only thing that makes this annoying is the visibility and the surprise. The reliable areas are Big Red, Checkpoint, Stronghold, New Gas, Old Gas, Storm's Exterior, and of course the sniper scavs again. You don't need to speedrun 8 in one raid, but Customs often gives you enough that you can finish it in one calm run if you stay disciplined. A suppressor is helpful, but not mandatory. The priority is to avoid being forced into close-range surprise, because bolt actions punish that. So you keep distance, you clear angles before you commit. On that note, I want to suggest something. People often tell you to run bolties as your main gun to speed up these quests. My experience is different. Yes, I will prioritize my bolty, but I also carry an MP7 as my backup gun. If I have to clear dorms in one of these raids, or for that matter any raid where I have to run a bolty, I will swap to my MP7. Part 6 is 5 sniper scav with a bolt action. Sniper scavs are predictable because they spawn in specific elevated positions and they announce themselves with loud rifle shots. If you're ever moving and you hear one clean unsuppressed shot crack across the map, that's usually your signal that the sniper scav is active. Use cover, locate the position and take the shot from safety. Customs is efficient because you can often get multiple sniper scavs per raid. Showdown works too around tower and behind resort. The only trap here is impatience. People expose themselves for too long and trying to confirm the kill. If you hit them and they drop prone or duck behind cover, try to make the second shot calmly. You're not dueling a player, you're solving a static problem. Part 7 is 5 PMCs over 45 meters with a suppressed bolt action. In PvP, this part is basically teaching you the real bolt action advantage. Not power, but ambiguity. Suppressors don't make you silent in Tarkov, they make you unclear. They make it harder for others to instantly map your position and to return fire accurately. Again, woods and shorelines seem the natural picks because you can create 45 to 100 meters easy. But again, this is the perfect quest to use Reserve Dome to your advantage. Easy controlled kills, Red Rebel extract out if nothing spawns. Tarkov Shooter Part 8 is usually presented as this massive wall. 3 PMC headshots with a bolt action without dying. And mechanically that's true, it's a streak. If you die, it resets. But in PvE, this is one of those quests where difficulty is almost entirely self-inflicted if you approach it the wrong way. The important thing to understand is not doing it fast, but doing it safely. You don't need 3 kills in one raid, you don't even need 2. 1 clean headshot then extracting is perfectly valid progress. If you treat it like that, the pressure disappears completely. And again, this is where Reserve comes in. If you use the dome position on Reserve, Tarkov Shooter Part 8 becomes extremely controlled. You get long sidelines, predictable PMC positions, and most importantly, you get time. From dome, you can observe before committing. You can choose shots that are stationary or slow, and you can disengage instantly after the kill. You're not reacting, you're selecting. The correct way to do this in PvE is simple. Load into Reserve, go dome, and wait. You're looking for a single clean headshot opportunity. You take the shot, you confirm the kill, and then you see what kind of situation presents itself. If you can get another easy kill, go for it. If it feels risky or you are getting pushed, use the Red Rebel extract behind the dome and reset. You don't look for a second kill unless it's safe. The quest does not reward bravery, it rewards completion. Once you understand Tarkov Shooter Part 8, something important happens. And many players don't realize that. You already solved Psycho Sniper. Psycho Sniper looks scarier on paper than it actually is, because it's essentially the same quest with a higher number. 5 PMC kills with a bolt action without dying. And you need bolt action rifle skill level 10. The skill requirement sounds like a grind, but if you've done Tarkov Shooter properly, you're already well on your way. And more importantly, the playstyle is identical. And I should mention you can get additional sniper skill from Shooter Born in Heaven, and if you're really falling short, from Mentor as well. Combining Tarkov Shooter Part 8 and Psycho Sniper is such a good idea in PvE. You're already running bolt actions, you're already playing slow, you're already extracting after progress. All Psycho Sniper asks you to do is keep doing the same thing for a bit longer. Again, Reserve Dome is the solution if your goal is a guaranteed completion, not speed. You approach Psycho Sniper the exact same way. 1 kill per raid is fine. 1 clean headshot, then leave. There's no bonus for doing more. There's no reason to risk the streak if you're not comfortable. Now, if you are very comfortable with bolt action, obviously this can be done faster. Once you trust yourself with bolties at any range, combining Psycho Sniper with other quests across different maps makes sense. That requires confidence, not mechanics. You need to be comfortable taking bolt action shots in closer, messier environments. That's a good example of what an advanced Psycho Sniper looks like. You're not camping dome, you're simply playing normally with a bolt action and letting kills happen when they present themselves. That's faster, yes, but it assumes that you're already past the point where bolt action feels restrictive. For most new players, especially in PvE, Reserve Dome is the correct baseline. It's boring, it's slow, and it works every time, and that's the point. Last but not least, Shooter Born in Heaven, the quest with a reputation. 5 PMC headshot kills on each listed map with a bolt action. This is where people destroy themselves by trying to do it like a sprint. Shooter Born in Heaven is not something you do, it's something you carry. The most important thing for returning players in 1.0 is that the distance requirement is gone. That changes the mental model. Historically, people treated Shooter Born in Heaven like I must take 100-meter shots, which forces you into specific locations and needs predictable play. Without the distance requirement, the quest becomes what it should have always been. Can you land bolt action headshots when the opportunity appears? So similar to PvP, the PvE approach is to integrate Shooter Born in Heaven into everything else you're doing. If you are doing a task on a map, bring your bolt action rifle as part of the plan. If the raid offers a clean headshot, you take it. If it doesn't, you finish your objective and leave. The quest completes over time, not over effort. You might be asking, What are the best spots? And to be quite honest, there are no best spots, but you can stack the odds in your favor. Woods is naturally the map where progress happens the fastest, because lines are long and targets are often exposed while moving. I like the forward operating base in the village because the sidelines are very good. Get the high ground on each side of the forward operating base and look for PMCs. That's how I get most of my shooter-born kills on woods. Shoreline is easy as well, because the resort creates predictable flows, and the terrain gives you long views from the roof. And the new smugglers area and PMCs often crossing the field in front of it, there's another good opportunity. Customs is tighter, but still very doable. I personally like the last window in 2-story dorms looking at the 3-story stairs. In 1.0, that's where I got most of my kills. Other than that, getting an angle on old gas from the rail tracks is very good as well. Interchange can be slow, because sidelines are weird and people disappear into the mall, which means your best chances often happen at the start of the raid, with PMCs walking over parking. Another good spot is to stand on the boxes and looking towards middle. I often see the PMCs crossing there. Reserve is easy again, we already learned about the dome spot. Just go there, get your kills, and if nothing shows up, extract via Red Rebel. Lighthouse can be awkward because the map has extremely long sidelines, but also high threat zones that can pull you into fights you didn't want. So you focus on clean road and hillside angles rather than committing too deep. I personally like to sit on the sniper hill and then exit via the path to shoreline. Streets is often slow because it's dense and line of sight breaks constantly, so you accept that streets progress often comes from mid-range windows and intersections rather than classic sniping. Ground Zero depends heavily on how you personally play the map. For me, I sit on either of these two buildings and watch the road. If nothing shows up after 5 minutes, I will walk either to the other building or through the extract. Gear matters a lot as well. Before 1.0, I would personally prefer to use the best modded version of the M700. I used to run thermals a lot when I was less comfortable, but I would highly suggest you use a normal scope. And if you really need a thermal, bring it on a second gun. The DVL is a wonderful choice as well. It has a very satisfying sound. If you are looking for a more budget gun, the VPO 215 would be my main suggestion. But wait, with 1.0 everything changed. Now I would suggest the Marlin lever action over any other bolty. It's just that good. Solid ammo, very strong at range, and the added benefit of being able to get multiple shots in quickly. Looking at the bigger picture, the real connective tissue across all these quests. The game is trying to teach you that bolt action success is not about landing shots. It's about reducing variables. You choose maps that give you the right ranges. You choose angles that give you the first shot. You choose fights that end instantly. And when the quests introduce street conditions, the game teaches you that survival is part of the kill. A headshot that gets you killed afterwards is not progress, it's useless. So if you're going through these quests, especially in PvE, the correct mindset is simple. You're not trying to become a sniper, you're trying to become consistent. One clean kill, then reset the raid. One step at a time. If you do that, Tarkov Shooter stops being a wall, Psycho Sniper stops feeling impossible, and Shooterball in Heaven stops being a grind and starts being background progress. That's the whole point. You don't win these quests by being brave. You win them by being selective. I hope this video was helpful to you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.